Hello, one and all, and welcome back to another edition of the DVD Shelf Foreign Flix, the show that would rather high-five a good movie than smash a bottle over the head of a bad one. Today I thought I'd take a look at one of the most popular comedies from Hong Kong. So patch up your shoes and brush that hair out of your face. It's time for me to review Shaolin Soccer. The story of Shaolin Soccer follows former soccer player Golden Leg Feng, who in his prime was considered the best of the best, until he accepted a bribe to throw a game and was crippled by the angry crowd. Now a hobbled disgrace, he comes across Steel Leg Sing, a former Shaolin Kung Fu student who wants to find new ways to popularize Kung Fu. They decide to join forces in order to apply martial arts to soccer, and Sing assembles his former Shaolin brothers: Iron Head, Light Weight, Hooking Leg, Iron Shirt, and Lightning Hands, all of whom have moved on from their training. Feng helps train them to remember how to call upon their unique abilities, and then apply them to soccer so that they can win the big tournament and topple the unbeatable Team Evil, which is full of powerful, drug-enhanced players with abilities that rival those of the Shaolin brothers. This probably all sounds pretty silly, but don't worry, it's supposed to. Shaolin Soccer serves as a parody of both old-school martial arts films and underdog sports movies. However, this isn't the type of ridiculous parody like Scary Movie that mocks a given film, as it's more of an homage than an insult towards these genres. Additionally, it contains plenty of other Western pop culture references, including Jurassic Park and Michael Jackson's Thriller video. The humor can be a bit hit or miss, as some of the jokes fall a bit flat. But not to worry, even though the funny doesn't always work, this film contains the tried and true underdog story that actually makes for a fairly engaging plot, making this a parody that is nearly as focused on storytelling as it is on jokes, which is rare for a film like this. I mean, something like Airplane gives us a story that is basically background noise, only there to take us from joke to joke, but we don't really care about the characters or outcome as much as we care about the next sight gag and silly humor.
Got to be, shit.
And by comparison, Shaolin Soccer makes us care a bit about the characters. And even though there's plenty of silly humor, this doesn't feel like a constant barrage of sight gags, mockery, and jokes. Now, even though this has a lot working for it, there are some things that don't. In order for them to pull off some of the crazy martial arts powers, CGI was used pretty heavily throughout, and sadly it has not aged well. Not all of it looks bad, but there were plenty of moments where I cringed a little at how dated the effects looked. There's also something off about the way the only main female is portrayed. I feel like Stephen Chow doesn't know what to do with female characters, as a very similar thing happened in his next film, Kung Fu Hustle, where the woman who shows his character affection is insulted, belittled, and treated cruelly throughout by Chow, and really everyone. What is perhaps most impressive about this film is its intense popularity. In Hong Kong, this became the highest grossing Hong Kong produced film of all time, earning a bit over the $60 million mark at the box office in that country alone, becoming the first film to reach the $60 million mark in that country. This record was surpassed by Stephen Chow's next martial arts comedy with the 2004 release of Kung Fu Hustle, though that only beat it by less than $1 million. And that record wasn't beat until 2011, again, by less than $1 million. So for Hong Kong's cinema history, this was and still is a pretty big deal. It's still the 18th highest grossing film in Hong Kong out of all films released there, including international, and third highest of all domestic films. And by comparison, our third highest grossing film in the US is Titanic. Shaolin Soccer is basically the Titanic of Hong Kong cinema. What a weird sentence. All in all, this is a fun comedy, but I feel like it will appeal most to those who enjoy martial arts films from the 70s and 80s. Though it's still a pretty solid comedy for all, as it doesn't rely on parodies of those types of films for enjoyment to be had. Unfortunately, much of the CGI shows its age, and some of the humor might not fully work, but this is still an enjoyable and goofy film, and so I rated a 4. Definitely seek it out eventually to enjoy this unique Kung Fu sports parody hybrid. Now, as far as the release is concerned, well, this DVD is pretty underwhelming. Essentially, the only special feature is that it includes the English overdub with a significantly shorter cut, and the full cut in the original Cantonese with subtitles. However, the subtitles are surprisingly flawed. I'm used to janky subtitles from some of the releases I get from overseas, but this is an official American release, and not only are there a couple of typos, but there were at least 2 instances where a line of dialogue just didn't receive any subtitles. It is by no means a deal breaker, just a surprising oversight. Well, that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and be sure to leave a comment, high five, random phrase, compliment, or mini muffin below. And as always, be sure to visit happydragonpictures.com and follow us on Facebook to stay up to date with all of our releases. Until next time, this is Brother Sum reminding you that Kung Fu makes everything better.